Flow. The state in which people are so involved in an activity that nothing else seems to matter. The experience itself is so enjoyable that people will do it even at a significant cost, for the sheer sake of doing it. Does Monster Hunter Wilds achieve a flow state? There are 7 factors to determine the achievable of flow, according to Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. I hope I'm saying that right. So let's compare what Wilds has to offer with each factor that he came up with. Number 1. The sense of control. In a flow state, individuals feel a sense of control over their actions. An example of this would be a chess player who feels that they're in control as they devise strategies to win, even though the outcome of each game is uncertain. Monster Hunter has never been much of a smooth experience in my opinion, and a lot of things make you feel like you're clumsy and a little bit out of control. And with each game, they seem to improve the kind of control that you have. Wilds is no different, with a ton of movement options that allow for variety even when you rush in and miss a swing. The greatest control that it gives you is the weapon options, which are so insanely different that they drastically change how you play. Most of it, I'll never know what it actually is like because I've found what works for me, Charge Blade, and that's after I used the hammer for a while. There are so many different ways to take on the monsters, and you can also do this solo or in a group. Whenever I lose, it's usually on me. That's a good sign that this game has just the right amount of control that even when I fail, I feel like it's something I did and that I have to better prepare for. So Monster Hunter gets this one right. Next we have the merging of action and awareness. For this one, Mihaly says that individuals need to be so immersed in the activity that their actions and awareness become one. Example of this would be a rock climber who is so focused on the climb that they're no longer perceiving themselves as separate from the task of climbing. They experience the activity as spontaneous and automatic. You're just in it and doing it. You're not thinking about every single action. In Monster Hunter, if you don't pay attention, you will die, and you're constantly responding to what is happening on screen and what the monster is doing. And there's a whole new awareness added to this game with the addition of the mount. If I need to get out of there, I just call it in. It takes a few seconds, but the action itself is so automatic to me now that when I'm about to get hit by a flame burst or a monster's attack, that I'm automatically calling it in, but I'm not really thinking about it. Am I too vulnerable here and need to call him in, or can I stick around and try to get a few more hits? This is something that I was just doing but not consciously considering. Monster Hunter Wilds nails this one as well and takes another step towards a flow state. Flow is also achieved by having clear goals and direct feedback. I don't think you need an example for this because this is one of the things, if not the best, that Monster Hunter does. Your goal is to take down the monster. And when you start interacting with it, hurling things at it, attacking it, you get direct feedback on how you're doing. If you're hitting a bone or a plate, you'll hear it with sound, you see it with the numbers on screen. But if you are hitting the monster in a way that damages it, wounds appear on the monster. They get angry, they get exhausted. If you're hitting them in the right place, you will know. Clear feedback that you are getting closer to your goal of taking it down. This is probably the highlight for me, and something that really gets Monster Hunter towards that flow state. And once you're done, you can get back to it with another quest, a clear gameplay loop that is addictive. Number 4, a challenging activity that requires skill. Flow occurs when the activity presents a challenge that matches the individual's skill level. If you play tennis with someone who you're better than, it's not as fun, but if you play against someone who you're equally skilled against, it's actually very enjoyable. For Wilds, it's a tough call for me to judge this one because the game is so similar to Monster Hunter World, but way easier. I felt as though I slipped right back into the saddle and things came naturally, but I rarely felt that there was a monster that I couldn't overcome with at least a little bit of prep time. Even as I moved into high rank, overall, the challenge just isn't there for me. Is it a case of the game being too easy, or is it just a game that I'm familiar with? Maybe more difficulties will be added down the road, but for now, I can't say that this is a category that Monster Hunter excels in. Number 5, the loss of self-consciousness. In Flow, individuals often lose their sense of self, temporarily forgetting about personal concerns and immersing themselves fully in an activity. When you see any musician playing their instrument so well that they become absorbed in playing, and they may feel that they're a part of the music, not separate from it. Any video game really needs to do this well for me to keep playing it. Whether it's a narrative or a gameplay loop that I'm hooked in on, forgetting about the world's problems in real life for a few minutes is a sign that you're invested in the video game world. Monster Hunter certainly has a strong hook. You don't really even need to explain to anyone what this game is about, it's in the title. Some people argue that it's not in the mainstream, but based on the sales numbers, it definitely is. In the past, its mechanics have been a little bit too obtuse, but Wilds is the most approachable that it's ever been, for better or for worse. It's proven beyond a shadow of doubt that people love this game by how much they've adopted it. Why do they love it so much? Because even this game, stripped to its core, is about fighting, killing, making the armor that you want, and then fighting something bigger. It's a loop that's addictive, it's rewarding and satisfying, but it's also happening in an immersive, open world. This is a change that Wilds makes that I think is a really good one. You can just go from place to place without any loading screens, and that adds to the immersive experience. There's also the mount, which allows again for more speed and accuracy, and makes the experience a little bit better. Like each game that's come before it, I would struggle even going back to Monster Hunter Worlds now without these changes. Wilds is certainly iterative, not transformative, but it changes just enough that it helps the experience become even more a place that I like to lose my time in. I forget a little bit of what's going on in my life, and I play a fun monster hunting game. That's all I want, and that certainly is something that Wilds does very well and adds to that flow state. Number 6, concentration on the task at hand. Flow requires deep concentration where one is fully absorbed into the task, leaving no room for distractions. A good example of this would be a world-class hurdler who blocks out everything unrelated to their race, focusing solely on the task and winning. Yeah, this one I have a problem with in Monster Hunter Wilds. I find one of the biggest issues with the game is what happens during the hunts. Whether you're getting a heal from your Palico, or you have your scout flies going in every direction, new icons popping up, or you're trying to scroll through your item box, all of these things distract me from my main goal. There's so much to consider when, at the end of the day, you just want to lock in on that monster. And yes, these things can be helpful, but throw a few other hunters into the mix, maybe another monster, and everything is just cluttered and so hard to keep track of, especially when the frame rate dips. I find myself getting a little confused. At least how it is though, on the default settings, I feel like it doesn't nail this one. And lastly, we have the transformation of time. In Flow, time perception alters, making it feel like time either flies by or stretches out depending on your experience. An example of this would be a ballet dancer who may experience doing a complex move that they practice over and over and over again as lasting hours. The timing of it is just changing. If this was a different Monster Hunter game, I think there would be an interesting conversation to have here. Back in the day when I first started with the series with Monster Hunter Tri on the Wii, the hunts were long and I was bad, so they took a very, very long time to conquer. Honestly felt like forever. But as I got better, hunts became more manageable, and I started to notice that 30 to 40 minutes went by in a breeze. But with Wilds, the hunts are shorter than they've ever been before. And again, maybe I might be better at these games, but it's definitely gotten easier. If I can blaze through a monster in 15 to 20 minutes, it feels like the fight is over before it's even getting good. Time doesn't feel like it's going by quickly or stretching out, it feels about as long as it actually is. And that might have to do with the ease of the game overall. Probably my biggest critique of Monster Hunter Wilds. So with the transformation of time, I feel like it doesn't do that well. Does Monster Hunter Wilds enter the flow state? Overall, Monster Hunter Wilds achieves a high level of flow and explains my recent obsession with this game. What the game does best, I think, surrounds its straightforward gameplay loops, clear feedback with how the monsters act, and the action that blends so seamlessly with your planning and moment-to-moment decision making. What it needs to improve on is the distractions that surround a lot of the game, the overall ease of the game, which impacts the transformation of time and the challenge. With updates, new monsters, and new modes, I'm sure that Monster Hunter Wilds will be up there with the best of the series, but for me, Monster Hunter Wilds definitely enters the flow state. Are there any other games that bring you a sense of flow? Let me know in the comments and subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks, and have a good one.